Do you sometimes feel like you've spent your whole life caring for others, only to end up feeling drained and forgotten? As the years pass, our desire for real friendship grows stronger, but so does the chance of people taking advantage of our kindness. Today we're exploring 7 important lessons that can change how you spend your later years. You'll learn why protecting your feelings matters, how to stop seeking everyone's approval, and how to create healthy limits, even with relatives who wear you out. We'll also discuss why change is always possible and how releasing old hurts can start a fresh chapter filled with happiness and peace. By the time we finish, you'll feel ready to take back your time, focus on your own joy, and live the way you choose. These game-changing insights will help you escape emotional burdens and discover the contentment you truly deserve. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest doing so and turning on notifications so you won't miss future videos. Your support really helps me. And if this video speaks to you, please like and share it to help spread these important messages. If you enjoy today's topic, comment yes below. If not, comment no, so I know how to improve future content. Now, let's begin. Truth 1. Be careful who you trust as we move through life, especially in our later years. The value of true friendship becomes crystal clear. The busy days once filled with work, family duties, and social events slowly transform into quieter times. The constant activity that once surrounded us fades away. The silence of an empty home, missing familiar faces, and life's slower rhythm can feel heavy on the soul. There's a deep wish to have someone to share your experiences with, someone who will truly listen, understand, and fill that empty space of loneliness. But while this need for connection is natural, it can also leave us open to harm from people who don't really care about our well-being. Have you ever noticed how certain people suddenly appear when you're struggling? When your world feels turned upside down and you desperately need support? These individuals seem to show up like angels. They offer listening ears, comforting words, and promises of help. You feel noticed, heard, and loved during your darkest times. But too often, once you start getting back on your feet, they vanish without warning. It leaves you questioning, was it all fake? Sadly, many times it is. There are people who hunt for weakness. They know exactly when and how to enter your life, when your guard is down and you're hungry for the connection you've been missing. It's painful to accept, but not everyone who enters your life wants to lift you up. Some come only to take. These seemingly kind and caring individuals might be drawn to your openness and giving nature like moths to light. They use your need for friendship to control and extract what they want, whether that's your time, emotional energy, or even your money. The worst part? When they've drained what they can from you, they leave you feeling more empty and alone than before. Realizing you've been used can be crushing, especially later in life when trust feels even more precious and rare. But here's what matters. While this truth can feel discouraging, it doesn't mean you must live in constant suspicion or isolation. You don't have to close your door to new relationships out of fear. Instead, learn to develop wise judgment. Be cautious without being cold. When someone new enters your life, pause and ask yourself important questions. Why are they here now? What do they really want? Does their presence feel genuine, or does something seem wrong? Trust your gut feelings, even when they tell you something you don't want to hear. Your intuition grows stronger as you get older and wiser. You've lived through enough to recognize warning signs, even subtle ones. Don't ignore those alarm bells when they ring. If someone's actions don't match their words, or if you sense their presence depends on what they can get from you, step back. It's perfectly fine to protect your peace and set limits. Creating boundaries is one of the most empowering things you can do. You're not required to welcome everyone with open arms. You have every right to say no, put up walls when needed, and put your well-being first. This isn't selfish. It's necessary. Your time, energy, and emotional resources are valuable and deserve to be shared with people who truly appreciate you, not those who only want to take. Remember, trust should be earned, not freely given to everyone who crosses your path. Be careful but not closed off. Stay open to real connections but not at the cost of your peace. As you become more selective, You'll start noticing patterns in people's behavior that reveal their true intentions. You'll recognize when someone appears in your life for the wrong reasons, and you'll have the strength to distance yourself before they can cause damage. If you're still watching and finding these lessons helpful, please comment yes below to let me know you're following along. While this balance might seem difficult to achieve, it's definitely possible. Picture a life where you're surrounded only by those who encourage you, people who bring joy and support without expecting anything back. Imagine the freedom of knowing you can trust those around you without constantly watching your back. That kind of peace is within your grasp, but it requires alertness, wisdom, and the courage to say no when necessary. Have you felt the pain of betrayal when someone you trusted used you? If so, you're not alone. Many of us know that sinking feeling of realizing we've been taken advantage of. But the power to prevent it from happening again is in your hands. By being selective with your trust and valuing your well-being above all else, you can break free from the cycle of giving too much to those who give nothing back. It's time to reclaim your peace. You deserve to spend your golden years with clarity, free from the drama and manipulation of those who don't genuinely care. You've earned the right to be choosy, guard your heart, and surround yourself only with those who truly brighten your life. What would change if you became more careful with your trust? How much more peace and happiness could you have if you refused to let anyone drain your energy or exploit your kindness? You've been through enough. Now it's time to protect yourself, trust your instincts, and live with the wisdom that only comes from experience. Truth 2. Stop living to make others happy. For so many years, you've been everyone's rock. You've been the caregiver, the provider, the constant source of strength for your spouse, children, and friends. You've given your heart and soul, always putting their needs before your own. From getting up early to prepare meals to staying awake late worrying about your children's futures. From being the emotional support when others fall apart. Your life has been an endless cycle of selfless service. But now, at this stage in your life, I want to ask you something. Who's taking care of you? The hard, sometimes painful truth is that no one will make your happiness a priority unless you do it yourself. For decades, you've likely been taught, whether by society or your own family, that your value comes from how much you can do for others. Your worth gets measured by how many meals you can cook, how often you're available to watch the grandchildren, or how quickly you offer a listening ear to everyone's troubles. You've been trained to believe that your purpose, even now, is to serve. As we age, this belief can become even stronger, as if our value disappears unless we're constantly giving. But let me ask you, at what price? Have you ever stopped to think about how this constant cycle of giving affects you? How often do you feel tired, physically, mentally, and emotionally? How often do you feel unappreciated or even invisible despite everything you do? And how often do you push down a small but growing feeling of anger because you've spent your life meeting everyone's needs except your own? Living to please others, especially family, isn't the same as love. It's a form of self-imprisonment, a trap that keeps you from truly enjoying life, pursuing your dreams, and feeling the deep, genuine joy that comes from living for yourself. You deserve more than being a support system that others depend on without ever thinking about what you might need in return. This stage of your life is precious, and it's time to take it back. You deserve to spend your remaining years doing what makes you happy, whether that's traveling, picking up a hobby you've always wanted to try, or simply resting without feeling guilty. Your needs and wants matter just as much as anyone else's, if not more. It's time to shift focus from pleasing others to honoring yourself. Yes, this change can be difficult, especially with family. There's often an unspoken rule that parents, especially mothers, should always be available, always giving. But ask yourself, what about me? It's not selfish to put yourself first. It's a bold act of self-love, one that's long overdue. The truth is, if your family truly loves you, they'll understand and respect your need to take time for yourself. They might not get it right away. They may even push back or try to make you feel guilty for stepping away from that old role. But that's not your problem to solve. You've given so much of yourself over the years. Now it's time to start living for you. If some family members don't understand or support your decision, that reflects their issues, not your worth or value. Don't let guilt or fear of disappointing others stop you from reclaiming your joy, your time, and your peace. You've spent a lifetime serving others. Now it's your turn. Picture what your life could look like if you allowed yourself the freedom to put your needs first. Imagine waking up and doing what you want, without worrying about meeting someone else's expectations. See yourself pursuing hobbies, exploring new places, or simply enjoying quiet moments of reflection without the weight of everyone else's needs pressing down on you. You deserve this freedom. You've earned it. So I ask you, what would your life look like if you let go of the pressure to please others? How would it feel to free yourself from endless family obligations and embrace the things that bring you joy? This is your time. This stage of life isn't meant to be spent serving others. It's meant for you to finally focus on yourself. If you've ever felt guilty for wanting to put yourself first, now is the time to let that guilt go. You're not selfish for wanting happiness and peace. You're human, and you deserve to live life on your terms. Truth 3. Distance yourself from toxic people. Even family, one of life's hardest lessons is realizing that not everyone, even family, deserves a permanent place in your world. From childhood, society teaches us that family is everything, that no matter what, we should stick by them, endure hardships, and keep peace at all costs. But what if those costs include your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being? How many times have you tolerated disrespect, manipulation, or even abuse because of the belief that family comes first? How often have you pushed aside your own needs to avoid conflict or guilt? The reality is that you have every right to protect your peace, even if it means distancing yourself from those closest to you. Blood may be thicker than water, but that doesn't mean it should drown you. If maintaining a relationship with certain family members leaves you feeling small, drained, or unworthy, it's time to rethink things. You don't owe anyone endless forgiveness or blind loyalty at the expense of your happiness. Take a moment to imagine what your life could be like if you weren't constantly weighed down by the negative energy of toxic relationships. Picture waking up each day knowing you're surrounded by people who genuinely care for you, who value and respect you for who you are, and who lift you instead of tearing you down. Can you feel the weight lifting just thinking about it? That kind of peace, that kind of freedom is possible, but only if you give yourself permission to walk away from people who don't deserve your presence. You've lived long enough to know that time is precious. You no longer have the energy or emotional reserves to waste on those who don't add value to your life. This is your time to prioritize your well-being. And part of that means making the difficult but necessary decision to distance yourself from people who bring more harm than good. Yes, this can even mean family. Walking away from toxic family members doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself enough to set boundaries and protect your peace. There's nothing selfish about this choice. It could be one of the most loving and self-respecting things you ever do for yourself. You're not abandoning your family. You're choosing to preserve your mental health. You're choosing to say, I deserve better. Because the truth is, you do deserve better. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, understanding, and kindness. If certain family members can't or won't give that to you, then it's time to let them go. It's okay to say no to toxicity, even if it comes from those who are supposed to love you most. You're not responsible for carrying the emotional burdens of others, especially if they refuse to respect your boundaries. There's immense strength in setting limits and saying, I will no longer tolerate this behavior. Your years, your energy, and your happiness are far too precious to spend them constantly trying to keep peace with people who don't bring you peace. Is there someone in your life who constantly drains your energy, puts down your worth, or makes you feel less than? How would it feel to finally draw a line and say, no more? You might feel a mixture of fear, guilt, and maybe even grief. But underneath all of that, there will also be relief, a quiet freedom that comes with knowing you've taken back control of your life. You don't have to carry the weight of toxic family members any longer. It's okay to walk away. If guilt starts creeping in, remind yourself that distancing yourself doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're choosing to care for yourself. Self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. Your well-being is worth protecting, even if it means letting go of people who share your DNA. Life is too short to spend it with those who bring you pain rather than joy. So ask yourself, is there someone in your life who constantly brings negativity or toxicity? How much lighter would you feel if you let them go or at least set firm boundaries to protect yourself? What would your days look like if you spent them surrounded only by those who truly lift you up, respect your boundaries, and make you feel valued? Truth 4. Stop expecting others to recognize your sacrifices. Throughout your life, you've undoubtedly made countless sacrifices, some so significant they changed your life's direction, while others seemed small but slowly chipped away at your time, energy, and dreams. You've given up so much for others, whether your children, spouse, friends, or community. You've poured your heart and soul into making sure everyone around you was cared for, often pushing your own needs aside. In the back of your mind, there was always a quiet hope. One day they'll see how much I've given. One day they'll appreciate everything I've done. But here's the painful truth. That day rarely comes. For many of us, the recognition and gratitude we long for never fully appears. Waiting for it can be one of the most exhausting, soul-draining experiences you'll ever have. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying all the times you bent over backward for others, hoping for even the smallest acknowledgement? A simple, thank you. That never comes? How many times have you felt invisible, like your efforts go unnoticed despite all you've done? The reality is that relying on others to validate your sacrifices and recognize your worth is a dangerous and heartbreaking game. When you place your happiness and sense of self-worth in others' hands, you're setting yourself up for constant disappointment. You become vulnerable to the whims of those who may never truly see all that you've done. When that recognition doesn't come, it can leave you feeling empty, frustrated, and even bitter. If you're still watching and finding these lessons helpful, please comment 2 below to let me know you're following along. But here's what you need to understand. Your sacrifices, your efforts, and your love are not any less meaningful just because they go unacknowledged. The value of everything you've given isn't determined by someone else's praise or approval. The love you poured into raising your children, the time you spent supporting your spouse, the energy you invested in being there for friends, none of that is diminished simply because no one stops to applaud you. Your actions hold their own value, independent of external recognition. You didn't make those sacrifices for applause. You didn't give up your time, dreams, or energy because you wanted praise. You did it out of love, out of care, out of a deep sense of duty to the people you cherish. And that is more than enough. You don't need a standing ovation for how you've shown up in life. The fact that you acted with integrity, love, and selflessness is its own reward. When you begin to see that, you'll find a deeper, more fulfilling sense of peace that no one can take away. It's time to let go of the need for external validation. Your worth isn't tied to whether someone says thank you or whether they even realize how much you've done. You are worthy simply because of who you are and the heart with which you give. When you stop looking for others to validate your sacrifices, you take back control of your happiness. You no longer hand over your emotional well-being to those who may never understand or acknowledge your efforts. Instead, you find fulfillment in knowing that you acted with love and did the best you could. Imagine how freeing it would be to live without constantly waiting for a pat on the back. Picture yourself no longer replaying conversations in your head, wishing for gratitude that may never come. How much lighter would you feel if you stopped tying your worth to someone else's approval? When you let go of that need, you open yourself up to a sense of self-worth that comes from within, one that no one can diminish. Have you ever felt the sting of disappointment when someone failed to recognize all the ways you've sacrificed for them? How often do you catch yourself silently hoping for that long overdue acknowledgement? What if, starting today, you chose to release that burden? What if you decided that your sense of fulfillment comes not from others' validation, but from knowing deep in your heart that you've done your best, acted with kindness, and given out of love. It's never too late to make this shift. Whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, it's never too late to let go of the need for external recognition and step into a life where your worth is defined by you, not by anyone else's approval or gratitude. You deserve to live your remaining years free from the weight of waiting for recognition that may never come. You deserve to feel peace, simply knowing that all the sacrifices you made were meaningful because you made them. Truth 5. Stop using your age as an excuse not to change. I'm too old for that. How often have you heard this phrase from others, or perhaps even whispered it to yourself? It becomes a comfortable shield, a way to avoid stepping out of the familiar and into the unknown. Whether it's learning a new skill, breaking free from a bad habit, or rediscovering joy in unexpected places, age is frequently used as a convenient excuse to resist change. But here's the undeniable truth. As long as you're still breathing, there is always room for growth, always space for transformation. The wisdom that comes with age is an incredible gift, one that grants you a unique perspective on life. You've lived through countless challenges, experienced highs and lows, and gained insight that younger people often can't grasp. Yet many people fall into the trap of thinking that after a certain age, the window for change is closed. They assume their chance to start something new, pursue a different passion, or reinvent themselves has passed. But this belief is nothing more than a mindset of resignation, a trap that keeps you stuck in complacency. Ask yourself, how many times have you held yourself back because you believed it was too late? How many dreams have you shelved, thinking they no longer fit into your life? How many adventures did you avoid, new hobbies you dismissed, or skills you never explored because you convinced yourself that your time for those things had already passed? The real tragedy isn't aging. It's allowing the limitations we place on ourselves to hold us back from living fully. The idea that we can't change, can't grow, or can't experience something new simply because of our age is a lie. We tell ourselves to stay comfortable, but comfort doesn't bring fulfillment. Your age isn't a barrier. Your age is proof of your resilience, your strength, and the depth of your experience. You are a survivor, a storyteller, and a well of wisdom. As long as you're willing to challenge the notion that old dogs can't learn new tricks, you'll discover that life still has so much to offer. Whether you're 60, 70, or even older, the potential for growth remains. The possibility for transformation is ever present, as long as you're willing to embrace it. Think of all the things you could still accomplish if you removed the mental roadblock of, "I'm too old." What would it feel like to finally start learning that musical instrument you always admired from afar? Or to pursue that passion for painting or writing that you once put on hold? What if you decided today that your age isn't an obstacle but an asset? You have the freedom to reinvent yourself, rewrite your story, and redefine your purpose at this stage of life. Take a moment and reflect. What is something you've always wanted to try but felt you were too old to pursue? Maybe it's learning a new language, traveling to a place you've never been, or starting a new career or hobby. What's stopping you? Is it fear of the unknown or the comfort of familiarity? Often, the only thing holding us back is our mindset. When you push past that, the world opens up in ways you may have never imagined. You don't have to cling to outdated beliefs about what aging means. You are not stuck. As long as you're alive, there is room for new adventures, new dreams, and new beginnings. The next stage of your life doesn't have to be defined by slowing down. It can be defined by awakening to all the possibilities that are still within reach. How many people stop living before they're truly done? Don't let yourself become one of them. Stop telling yourself that change is for the young. It's never too late to embrace something new, find purpose, pursue a passion, or transform into the person you've always wanted to be. Your best years can still be ahead of you, not because of your age, but because of your willingness to keep growing. Don't let the number of birthdays you've celebrated dictate what you're capable of. Instead, let your age be a badge of honor, a reminder of everything you've survived and everything you still have left to discover. Truth 6. Don't cling to the past as your only safe place. Nostalgia can be a beautiful thing. It wraps around you like a warm blanket, bringing with it the comfort of cherished moments, familiar faces, and times when life seemed simpler. Those memories, whether it's the sound of laughter at a family gathering, the excitement of a career milestone, or the thrill of first love, hold a special place in your heart. And they should. They're part of your story. But when you find yourself living more in the past than in the present, that same nostalgia can become a trap, keeping you from fully embracing the life you still have ahead. How often have you caught yourself thinking, back in my day things were better, or I was happier when? It's natural to reflect, especially as we get older and life's pace begins to slow down. But when you constantly long for what used to be, you rob yourself of the chance to enjoy what is. You risk becoming stuck in a cycle of comparing the present to the past, and often the present will seem to fall short. But is that really because things were better then? Or is it simply because we tend to romanticize the past, forgetting that it too had its challenges? Your memories are precious. They're part of the foundation of who you are today. But those memories should not dictate how you live now. The present moment, with all its imperfections, uncertainties, and sometimes overwhelming changes, is the only reality you have. Clinging too tightly to what was keeps you from fully living in what is. While it's easy to feel that the best days are behind you, the truth is that there is still beauty, growth, and joy to be found if you allow yourself to open up to it. Think about it. By constantly dwelling on what has already happened, you close yourself off from the possibility of creating new experiences, new memories, and new moments of happiness. Yes, the past holds a special place in your heart, but the future still holds promise. There is still time to laugh, to love, to learn, and to grow. You are not done living yet. If you can let go of the idea that the past is the only time when you were truly happy, you'll start to see the opportunities for joy and fulfillment that are right in front of you. Imagine what life would look like if you spent less time reminiscing about what was and more time embracing what is still possible. Every single day offers a new chance to make memories, to find joy in small, simple moments, and to embrace the person you are now. You're still evolving, still capable of creating happiness, no matter your age. Don't let nostalgia for what once was keep you from experiencing what still could be. Ask yourself, are you living more in your memories than in your current reality? How many times have you caught yourself thinking, I wish things could go back to how they were? What new experiences could you create today, right now, if you decided to stop looking backward and start looking forward? What would your life look like if you chose to be present in every moment, to find joy in the here and now rather than longing for a time that no longer exists? There's a balance to be found between honoring your past and living in your present. You don't have to forget the beautiful moments that shaped you, but you also don't have to let them define you. The best years of your life don't have to be behind you. They can be ahead of you, waiting to be discovered in ways you never imagined. Let go of the idea that the past is the only place where happiness lives. The present is yours to shape, and the future still holds untold possibilities. So ask yourself, what can I do today to create a new memory, experience something that brings me joy, and embrace the person I've become? The past may have been good, but the present still has the potential to be extraordinary if you let it. Truth 7. Find balance in your habits, including your personal health. This is a topic that many avoid discussing, but it deserves honest attention, especially as we age. Personal health, including private habits, is a natural part of life, and maintaining a healthy relationship with all aspects of your well-being is important. However, when any behaviors become excessive or compulsive, they often point to deeper, emotional issues that need addressing. The truth is, when we find ourselves relying on any habit, whether physical or otherwise, to escape from our emotions, it can signal that something more profound is happening beneath the surface. Have you ever noticed how some habits seem to take on a life of their own? How you might turn to certain behaviors day in and day out, almost automatically? Perhaps you wonder why you feel the urge to engage in these habits daily. Often, such behaviors are attempts to fill an emotional void, to cope with feelings of loneliness, stress, dissatisfaction, or even boredom. The behavior itself may bring temporary relief, but the real question is this truly addressing your emotional needs, or is it just masking them? When these habits become a form of escape, they can prevent you from exploring and healing the root causes of your emotions. They can create a cycle where you feel distant from yourself and from deeper, more meaningful connections with others. While all aspects of health are crucial to overall well-being, like anything else in life, they need to be balanced. Too much reliance on any one behavior, especially one that becomes compulsive, can distract you from more fulfilling, lasting ways to connect with yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. It's not about eliminating behaviors or feeling ashamed of them. It's about recognizing when they no longer serve you healthfully and finding balance. It's about asking yourself, is this habit bringing me real satisfaction, or am I using it to avoid addressing deeper issues? When you start to explore this question honestly, you open the door to a healthier, more balanced relationship with yourself. Finding balance in all areas of your life is essential to living fully. It's important to acknowledge that personal health doesn't fade with age. It's a vital part of who you are, but when it begins to replace other meaningful ways to experience joy and connection, it's time to reassess. Healthy habits should enhance your life, not detract from it. If you're still watching and finding these lessons helpful, please comment 3 below to let me know you're following along. Consider exploring activities that bring you joy and fulfillment in deeper, more enduring ways. What hobbies have you always wanted to try? How can you engage in meaningful conversations with those around you? Have you taken time to nurture relationships with loved ones or even strengthen the connection you have with yourself? Finding balance means incorporating a variety of activities that nurture not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. So what brings you the most joy and connection? Is it spending time outdoors, learning something new, or reconnecting with an old passion? Maybe it's as simple as sharing a conversation with a close friend or practicing mindfulness through meditation or exercise. Whatever it is, begin to invite more of those moments into your daily life. Create space for activities that fulfill you on a deeper level, and you'll find that the need to rely on certain habits as a form of escape will naturally diminish. When you start seeking balance not just in your personal health but in all aspects of your life, you begin to live with intention. You reclaim your ability to create joy and fulfillment, not by avoiding your emotions but by understanding them, by nurturing meaningful connections, and by pursuing activities that bring you true satisfaction. Embrace your freedom and live your truth. As we've journeyed through these 7 truths, one message stands out. Your later years are yours to reclaim. You hold the power to set boundaries, prioritize your own happiness, and live with peace, balance, and dignity. These years can be filled with joy, growth, and new beginnings, but it all starts with you. The choice to live fully, embrace change, and find balance is yours to make now. As you reflect on everything you've learned, consider how you'll begin to incorporate these truths into your life. What changes will you make to honor yourself, to live authentically, and to embrace the freedom that comes with living on your terms? Your story is still unfolding, and the best chapters may be the ones you're about to write. As we come to the end of this journey through the 7 truths, I hope you found insights that resonate with your own life. Whether it's about setting boundaries, letting go of the past, or finding balance in every aspect of your well-being, these lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now I want to hear from you. What have you learned so far? Take a moment to reflect and comment below with one thing you've learned and plan to bring into practice in your own life. Let's share our journeys and support each other in embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your terms.